Blue Lock sucks. Okay, you probably read the title of the video and clicked on it to absolutely rip me apart in the comment section, but hear me out. I think Blue Lock is decent, but overrated to the moon and back, and I can tell you why. Using the global attention from the 2022 World Cup, Blue Lock is an anime that has gained a significant amount of hype and popularity among fans of the sports genre, and my goodness, this show is trending on Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, wherever you find your entertainment. I couldn't even go 2 minutes massaging my meat. Remember, the meat has to be tender. Without having these damn characters stare into my soul with their Freaky Friday eyes. The show was 4 episodes in and some people were calling it the greatest sports anime of all time. Well, they clearly haven't seen Free, Iwatobi Swim Club. Also guys, remember to subscribe and I'll give you a hug. In all honesty, I was riding the bandwagon at first. The combination of music, art, animation, high stakes were propelling the show to heights that many sports anime can't reach. It was captivating and putting viewers on the edge of their seats as they watched a simple game be treated as if it was a death game. Blue Lock could have built on these elements to provide a type of show not seen before. We've only seen a sliver of the show so far, and there's definitely room to grow, but I don't think that it will go down as a monumental series that many people expected when they first watched, and I find that an incredible opportunity wasted. You know, I want to be objective, so let me first explain the synopsis. The story follows a young teenager named Yoichi Isagi, who is a pretty good striker but passes up on an opportunity to send his high school soccer team to the nationals. He's wondering what is holding him back until he gets recruited into the Blue Lock program, a training facility pitting 300 kids all playing as strikers and having to form teams to win and ultimately produce the world's greatest striker to lead Japan to victory in the next World Cup. On the surface, this plot seems fantastic and has the potential to be the next great anime, but as the show progresses, it becomes apparent that the plot is not as well developed as it should be. There are no real twists or turns, and the narrative is so bloody long and predictable. I do appreciate the show is trying to peel itself away from the overused stereotypical anime crap of "we may suck, but let's use the power of friendship to win the championship." Instead, Blue Lock says, "Nah, fuck that shit. We be selfish and not afraid to kick your ass." It might not satisfy the soccer purists who value strategy and teamwork, but I don't really care about that because it's unique. What I do have an issue is that it takes such a cool premise and makes it suffer from the anime trend of "Mwahahahaha."
Power balance!
We have to watch this predictable garbage happen 100 times during matches, and to make matters worse, the outcomes are so lame. I don't want you guys to call me a hater or a couch potato or whatever, and I know the grind and difficulties that people have to endure to succeed in sports, but seriously, having to listen to the main character do a play-by-play of the most simplest shit and then orgasm when his opponent cuts to the net is the most over-exaggerated cheesy baloney I've ever seen. You're playing sports, and adapting to what the defense offers you is called having a brain. Blue Lock makes it seem like everyone is idiotic, and only the main characters have heard of a back cross or know when to cut after a pass when attacking. The lack of basic sports IQ leads me into my second point of having the kids be in an environment with zero coaching guidance or personalized physical or nutrition education. Guys, Lionel Messi at 13 years old moved from Argentina to Spain in order to enroll in the Barcelona Youth Soccer Club, where he developed his skills and learned how to play as part of a team, which is the most fundamental aspect of team sports. Throughout the show, the characters explain their unique skills, which is interesting and fun, but the way they frame it is borderline ridiculous because they call it a fucking weapon, which only one person can have. Who the hell doesn't know how to switch directions when running? Oh my god, the stupidity of these characters is giving me a brain aneurysm. Let me make it clear, I love when anime decides to make unrealistic premises because it's entertaining and funny, but the whole life and death scenario in Blue Lock feels too melodramatic because we're unaware of the reasoning why many of the characters choose to ditch their family to join a sketchy program run by a creepy dude with a bowl cut. In episode 1, many of the recruits were complaining about how they would miss their high school national soccer tournament, but then they just decided to abandon everything because some stranger said, "Would you like to come in for some candy?"
I'm gonna blow you so hard.
There is no justification why these kids become so animalistic to impress some random dude in the screen. His master plan is to take away 10 of the 11 positions on the field and have them play street ball. A dude is literally dribbling the ball up the field and then kicking it farther away from the net, and this is so mind-blowing to the main character that he has to narrate for 5 minutes about how the dude applied his weapon to synthesize a chemical reaction to create the theory of relativity. E equals MC. Bruh, that's the fucking point of soccer. The anime just makes up fancy words to create superficial bullshit without saying anything conceptually relevant. And to make matters worse, it irritates me that the lack of character development promotes the crap that the show spews. Isagi is the main protagonist, but he lacks depth and complexity, making him an easy character to figure out. He's a kind-hearted, motivated individual who struggles with the idea of playing selfishly and standing out in a place full of talented people. This isn't a bad thing, as many anime protagonists are like this, such as Hinata and Haikyuu. These characters are beloved by the public and adds realism to the story, but Isagi is nothing special. As harsh as that seems, Isagi has nothing driving his insane motivation when you compare him to the vast repertoire of characters he faces on a daily basis. We see him pass up a big shot during a crucial game and know that this is what drives him to score goals and become better. However, stack him up against characters like Chigiri, who lost all his confidence and joy for the game when he suffered a massive injury early in his career, or Bashira, who was isolated and bullied by his peers for playing soccer in his own individualized way. Shit, even the short dude with the buzz cut has a more understandable motivation because he'll have to give up his dreams and go back home to take over his family's temple. Isagi feels bland and his driving force seems punitive, which is startling because the show focuses on him. Isagi's special ability is his spatial awareness, which allows him to see the field and understand other people's abilities and thought process. It's a cool concept, and he uses it to position himself for a strong direct shot. But Isagi's special ability causes his progression to feel out of place. The whole concept of the show is to peel away from Japan's conventional strategy of doing everything as a team, and instead focus on yourself to hone your skills and score a ton of goals. Well, everyone is already selfish, as we see in the beginning when they're all fighting for the ball except for Isagi. Throughout the show, these egotistic fours learn to swallow their pride, but Isagi never had an ego to begin with. Shouldn't Isagi's progression include some physical attributes like dribbling or a higher vertical jump? Instead, he becomes more understanding of people's motivations and stories, despite the show trying to find a monster within the kids to grow their abilities. The show fails to emphasize the attributes that makes a good striker. You need to have touch, the ability to control the ball in tight spaces like Nagi. You also have to have explosive speed and strength to break away from defenders and head the ball during crosses. Isagi has none of these skills, and the show makes it seem like his ability to position himself in good places is all you need to be the best striker, which is absolutely untrue. He doesn't even improve his direct shot, as there is no scenes of him shooting the ball from different distances or angles. Nothing unique happens, and it makes Isagi's progression and ability feel cheesy compared to the other characters who perfected their natural physical and strategic abilities to become better solo players who still understand how to succeed within a team. I'm not saying Blue Lock isn't worth watching because of Isagi. He has some cool moments and it's interesting listening him break down certain plays, but I get frustrated because his background and drive feel lackluster, with his abilities not growing into other regions. However, I should mention that I do appreciate the show focusing on the side characters and allowing us to fully understand their upbringings and the reasons why they play the way they do. A cool thing I noticed is how relatable they are. For example, even though Ryo is the heir to a company worth billions of dollars, we can relate to him struggling to break away from the chains of his parents' expectations and instead strive to do something that he wants to do. We develop connections with various characters and become more emotionally invested, unlike many other shows. Sorry, online.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
But focusing on side characters doesn't hide the other issue I have with Blue Lock. This might sound crazy, but the animation might be the most overrated aspect. I usually never complain about art and animation because I know that animators have to work insane hours, sleeping at the studio, all while getting paid horrible wages. Most people know this and say we shouldn't complain of poor animation, but I think that's taking the issue in the wrong way. The quality is poor because the directors feel no pressure to improve the work conditions. Remember, Every second of an episode is hand-drawn, with some scenes taking weeks or even months to complete. These animators are forced to produce 24 episodes in such a short period of time, and it's no brainer why the animation quality drops as the show progresses. The first couple of episodes were beautiful as it created a cohesive and visually stunning experience. The movements felt natural with smoothness and fluidity in line with the laws of physics. The attention to detail only bolstered the effects as the facial expression and body language added depth and realism to build tension and convey emotions to enhance the visual experience for the viewer. I found myself getting drawn into every match, looking forward to what new combination of attacks I would see next. But as the show progressed, it became evident that this was no longer the case. The movements became stiff, and it seemed like the studio was restricting each episode to only having maybe 1 or 2 good scenes, likely due to the lack of time that the animators had to meet the ridiculous deadlines. Animation is way more impacted by time rather than money, and these production committee members need to be held accountable and treat their animators as the backbone of their product instead of as slaves. You see, Blue Lock has all the potential to be the next great famous anime in line with shows like Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, and Haikyuu. It has the unique flawed and side characters, but is hindered by a disregard of basic soccer training and coaching, inconsistency of the main character contrasting the theme of the show, and finally, the significant deterioration of the animation that was so good at the start. I don't think Blue Lock is horrible, but when the fan base is almost as toxic as the fans of My Hero Academia or Naruto, it is understandable to think that the show is hella overrated. You can watch it if you want, but it's probably a 6, maybe a 7 out of 10. So anyway, that was my rant about why Blue Lock is not good. If you're still here listening to me, let me know what you guys think about this show, would you rate it, and let me know why. Anyway guys, this was Big Man Jason. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.